See how YouTube is gonna do it, y'all. But yeah, I can hear you, Dr. Stella, and you can unmute your mic from on YouTube. I mean on. Yep, you are. Yeah, I can hear you in both places. Let me see if I can mute in both places. I can't. Nope. I can mute over there. I can't. I should mute. Can you mute me? Okay, okay. Good. Okay, so TikTok. Oh, we can't hear her. I don't hear her. I can't hear you on TikTok. No, I can't hear you on TikTok. So I can't hear you on TikTok. Oh, now I can. Now I can. Okay, I just cut it up. So my mic is up. So you're good, and you can still hear me on Clubhouse. Yes. Okay. So. Okay, good. So what we're doing, we're having a conversation. How do you handle ungrateful children? Like, it's this episode of Let's Talk About It, because there's certain stuff we just need to talk about. And if I have to go back and do a cover for it, I will. But let's just talk about it. How do you handle ungrateful grown children? And so when you're trying to do something fun, and then the other one, it's like, you don't ever do this. Or you said, I'm gonna be nice. You said the father. When they come and do something, it's like you ain't done nothing. Well, they can say something that you said over and over and over again, and they don't hear you. But the absent party comes in and say something. Oh, it's like, oh, it's like. Yeah, YouTube is gonna do it, y'all. But yeah, the president just declared a decree or something, and it's okay. So that really disturbs. I think I might have shared this already. How I have three, so two of them went out of town and called me back, tell me they need to ask to get back. And what? And it hit me. You right there where the money is. You right there with your other part, the other 50% of you. Go ask him, and I'll see y'all when y'all get home. And that was the end of the conversation. And they made it work out. But it's like you can do nothing besides, yeah, I can vent and vent stay low as a situation now. But so grateful as I have been in agreement with heaven, and things I feel change. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the live. This is a conversation that I know many people don't want to talk about, but it's happening. It is happening, especially if they live with you. Now it's different if they out of your home. It's conversations, or they come back and something, like that. They're right there. That's a force of a open that you're trying to do. You just hold it in your hand. You're unmuted, thick influencer. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that they pulled me up. That's okay. Okay. Yeah, so this is kind of scattered a little bit, but we're having a conversation today, and it's not planned at all. I was speaking to Dr. Stella, and I said, we've been talking about having these conversations. Let's talk about it. Anyway, about me just coming on and certain things we just need to address. We need to talk about some of these things, and one of those things is, how do you handle ungrateful grown children?
How do you handle them? And I know different people are going to have different opinions, and that's fine. And that's why we're doing it. And the way I do a thing, you dare not would do it that way. The way you do a thing, I probably wouldn't do it that way as well. These conversations that we have, I want to make sure that they stay respectful, because I don't think anybody has a monopoly on how to raise children. I don't think anybody, yes, it is hurtful. It's very hurtful when you are literally doing your best, right? When you're literally creating, and I don't even, some things aren't sacrifices, because I don't think you sacrifice for your children, but some things are like their basic needs. You're supposed to take care of those basic needs. And even in that, sometimes it's a sacrifice, right? But what I found is a lot of grown children are interesting too. Like it is just, so I'm a certified Christian counselor, and I do a lot of stuff with parenting, and a lot of my conversations outside of Clubhouse. I don't do it publicly as much. I do it for people who know I do this, just because I don't like that lane. Like, I just don't. I would rather talk about AI in church or something like that, than to discuss this. But I am very reversed in this. Wrote several parenting books as well, having that conversation. But I will tell you this: we do have to have it. We do have to have the conversation. And, being, there have been times when, as a single mom, I was made to feel like I couldn't complain. I couldn't say that I didn't like certain things, or you shouldn't have, we tell people you shouldn't have had a baby by them. All of those things we've said, and it's hurtful. And we just need to publicly have that conversation. We need to publicly be able to say, hey, when I know for a fact that I have talked to moms who, when it comes to the Black single mom, I'm just gonna say it because it's my daddy's birthday today, and I'm gonna be bold. When it comes to the Black single mom, we're treated differently in our complaints than those who are either married or our counterparts. If it's a, and it is, I've watched this. If it's a, um let's say it's a married family or a Caucasian family, and Jim is at work, and Susie's been at home with the kids all day, and the mom and dad will take Jim out. Susie's been with the kids all day. She's exhausted. You need to help out more. But then when it comes to us, we got to suck it up, buttercup. We got to, if you want it bad enough, you shouldn't have did this, you shouldn't have did that. And I don't like that. I don't like that narrative. I don't like the fact that we even as a race, like, I don't like the fact that we condone it. I don't like the fact that we allow um, our the moms or the dads to get away with, we're supposed to be grateful with whatever the other parent does. I don't like that. I'll never forget one time I was we were at a lunch, and it was with one of my friends. I have a story with one of my Black friends and one of my white friends. But we were at a lunch, and I asked the lady, I said, "Oh, is so and so keeping the kids?" And she said, "Keeping the kids? He's not keeping the kids. Those are his kids." And it really just, like, it's been years ago. I can't even remember if Adrian was born at the time. I think he was. But it just really let me know, like, what so many different worlds we live in, from the single mom to the married mom to the single Black mom to the single white mom to the married white mom to the married Black mom, all of that, and the weight that we're made and that's forced on us, right? We can't complain, we can't say this. And I know probably 90% of um single moms have heard, you shouldn't have slept with him. You should have laid down with him. You knew what you was getting yourself into. And I'll never forget, I told one of my friends one time, we were talking, she said, "Oh, you cannot complain," because Adrian was conceived, he was a love child, right? And so I've had, like, I think 3 miscarriages before having him. Like, I think God finally just said, "Honey, she gonna kill herself trying to have a baby by this man." I was unmarried, a preacher, all that kind of stuff. Y'all, I don't even know if that's in the book, but that's the story. And so I remember one of my close friends, she said, I was complaining one day. She said, "You don't get to complain. You can never complain because you wanted to do that. You did that, XYZ, 1, 2, 3." So one day I said, "Now look, I signed up for my portion. I didn't sign up for it all. because I took pills to get Adrian. I had to go to the doctor, and his dad went. We had his sperm count check. I mean, we really went through great measures to have Adrian. And so finally, one day, I said, "Look, I take ownership of my part. I didn't sign up for the whole thing because we even talked about. I know me and Adrian's dad. We even talked about who was going to. Are you going to get him a haircut? Are you going to do this? Are you going to buy pants? Like we literally sat down and had a conversation about the responsibility of me as a mom and him as a dad. And in the end, I should celebrate when whatever it's just a different type of animal. And so but there were times along the way when people said, well, you knew what you was getting yourself into. No, I did not. No, I did not know it was going to be that way. And I bet you, though, if we had a conversation with other moms, if we had a conversation with other people, they would feel the same way and have a similar dialogue as we're having on today. And so I just believe that there maybe this will bring healing to somebody. I don't know. Maybe it'll bring some peace to somebody. Me and my son's fathers are good. We're good. Me and Adrian's dad, we're probably on the best terms we have ever been on. And so this is not a personal jab at anything I have going on because we're in the good spaces. And so, but the conversation still has to be had. We got to talk about it. We have to talk about how there is a single mom somewhere right now getting ready for school, waiting for school to happen. The daddy may go to bite week. There's a single dad out there now waiting for school to start. The mom's going to be doing what she wants to do. And I just don't like the fact that we don't give people permission to say, this hurts me. I don't like the way this has made me feel. I don't like this. I want it to be different. I think it's okay. I think we need to have those conversations. And I really think that today is the lucky day for us to have that. So that if there is a mom on YouTube, mom on Clubhouse, a mom on TikTok, and you have been made to feel as if you don't have any right to complain, you're not doing it right, yada, yada, Skippy. I just want to tell you that I'm sorry. I want to tell you that I'm sorry that you have to go through that. Now, I don't feel sorry for you, but I'm sorry that, and maybe I would, I don't know, depending on your situation, right? Maybe I would. I don't know. But I do want to tell you that, you own up to your end of the bargain, but you're not as a mom or dad. I'm talking about both single mom, single dad, married mom, married dad. Either way it go. Because I have friends who were married who felt like they were single moms. I have friends who were married who felt like they were single dads. So anybody that's carrying the most weight, right, that's carrying the most weight in this parenting thing, this parenting situation, we are the ones to I want to apologize for us. And I also want to have this conversation, maybe not today, because this is such a widespread conversation. I also want us to have this conversation, y'all. When them jokers get grown and they treat you like you ain't did nothing for them, you don't wash their nose, their butt, their eyes, their ears. You've done all of that. And they have the mitigated gall to stand flat footed and to say something like that to you. And then if the grandmom or the granddad or the aunties or the uncles go along with it, like it's just so many dynamics of this situation when it comes to parenting. I told somebody the other day, both of my boys, I don't do well when both of my boys meet me at the same time. If they both say my name, because Adrian is 16 and Tyler's 26, I'm like, which one called me first? Which one do I respond to first? I still haven't mastered that yet. And so I told somebody the other day, because one needed this and the other one needed that. And Tyler's here more because his job is closer to our house. And so I told, I forgot who it was. I said, parenting is so ghetto. It's just, and I've always loved parenting. And my girlfriend that I said that to, she was like, "What? You feel that way? You love parenting?" I said, "Well, honey, I'm 53, and it has gotten so ghetto." So I just wanted to have the conversation. And I do. I want moms to know out there that you're not by yourself. I want dads to know that you aren't by yourself, that you have a right to feel the way that you feel. You just need to find somebody in some way to nurture or to walk through or talk through those feelings. One of the things that I did in my parenting days was I constantly invited people to the table to have this conversation, to be able to have this conversation, to be able to forgive themselves, because that's something that has to happen too. As moms, dads, parents, we have to forgive ourselves. We have to walk through that because we get it wrong, right? One thing me and my children used to say, Mama, you strong and wrong. I'd be like, strong and wrong, strong and wrong, right? So we have to own that. We don't have to stay in that place, and we don't have to wallow in that space, but we do have to acknowledge that. And acknowledging that sometimes means we have to acknowledge that we're wrong, but it also means sometimes we have to acknowledge our feelings. We have to acknowledge. I'll never forget, I went to school at the denominational theological center, and I'll never forget one of my professors, and he said, as parents, when our children come back, what we need to do is, we don't need to make excuses. We don't need to try to talk it out of them that's how it was. Because if that is so, we just need to apologize. Because I'm gonna tell y'all what the enemy does. Glory to God today. What the enemy does is the enemy will create a narrative in the head of your children, i.e., by the little people in their head, your mom, your dad, their mom, their dad, the dad, whoever, that there's a narrative that will find you that's not your narrative. And there's a narrative that will find you that will cause you to be in pain, and it'll cause you to be in circles, and it'll cause you to be in cycles. And this is not the time or the season. Number one, you have got to forget whatever your parenting situation is. You have got to forgive yourself. You have got to forgive yourself. That's number one. You have got to forgive yourself. All right. Number two, you may have to have the conversation with your children. You may have to have that conversation of, listen, I don't like it when you talk to me like that or treat me like that. Well, Mom, you're just so sensitive. No, I'm not. You're disrespectful. If I say that's disrespectful, it's disrespectful. And I love my children, but my oldest son, I blocked him before. I have. I was like, oh no, baby, you need some time to breathe. And we made our way through it, right? But there are a lot of dynamics and parameters around even all of that. And so I wanted to come on and say, hey, let's talk about it. This is one of those let's talk about it conversations. There are a lot of let's talk about it conversations that we have to have. We're going to talk about AI in the Black church. We're going to talk about the Black church. We're going to talk about Black women and how we sometimes pit each other against each other. And there's not going to be all negative things, but I think we should have the hard conversations so that we can navigate through them to see where are we and why are we here? Because we wear so many masks, right? Oh my gosh. When I tell you, some of these people that, I have NDAs with people who I call them name brand people, right? They work with some amazing people. They are amazing. We look up to them, and I've had to do some one-on-ones with them because they jacked up. They're just they have a lot going on the inside, but when they leave out of the house, of course, you're supposed to straighten your crown and go on about your merry way. But we're hiding a lot of this stuff. We're hiding a lot of the hard conversations that we need to have. We're hiding that. I told a couple of my clients one time, I said, no, I'm praying to God that I could take one of your classes. I just need to make more money. No, you make enough money. Your money is going towards your grown children. Now, whether you do that or not, that's on you. But what we're not going to do is not act like God didn't give us enough to bless us so that we can do what we need to do. But we decide to put it in the hands of other people, i.e., sometimes our grown children. Sometimes the children aren't even grown, but we make these sacrifices for them. And then we get upset because they don't say thank you, or because they are ungrateful, or we could have just spent all of our money. No, what you've got to learn how to do is what I'm learning how to do even the more, and that is set boundaries. Set the right boundaries so that when these situations show up, you put boundaries in place, and you don't go outside of those boundaries. That you decide that you're going to set boundaries in place, and you don't go outside of those boundaries. Listen, I'm Dr. Tavis. We're having a conversation. Let's talk about it. How do you handle disrespect for grown children when, number one, for some people, you're still taking care of them. For some people, you're not. For some people, you do for them and you expect them to be like a pawn or to be at your beck and call, when in fact that's just Jezebel right there. You're taking care of them to control them. So there's just such a vast array of dialogue and conversation. I just want to ask you a question. How do you handle disrespect for children? We're going to continue this dialogue. I'm going to go off of YouTube, but for the YouTubers out there, I want to know, how do you handle this conversation? How do you handle disrespect for grown children? What does that look like? I'm Dr. Tavis, and this is a Let's Talk About It session, and I just wanted to talk about it. How do we handle when our children are disrespectful? How do we handle when our children make us feel as if what we did is not enough? How do we handle when we spent the last 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 25 years with our children and taking care of our children, and then the dad decides to show up or the mom decides to show up and we are treated as if we are a second class citizen? How do we handle it? How do you handle it when your child, son, or daughter stand flat-footed and tell you you ain't never did nothing for them? How do you handle that? I was listening to a lady, I can't even remember her name, I gotta find it, but there are two ladies that had this conversation as well. And she was talking about one of them was like, well, who took you to football practice? Who took you to basketball? She was like, my son. I was just really confused as to who did these things for him because it was just me and him, right? It was just me and him. And so I don't know where this narrative comes from or this dialogue comes from. A part of me feels like it's straight up demonic. A part of me feels like it's straight up demonic. Some of it is us, right? Because we played a role in it, right? Some of it is them. It's just a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of, it's just so many catalysts in there that causes these conversations to need to be had. We're going to have more of these let's talk about it conversations, but today we've been talking about it. How do you handle grown disrespect